Hello and welcome to another episode of CHP tutorials. In this video, we'll be looking at the last chapter in management information system. That's about e-commerce, right? And that's to do with digital markets and digital goods. We'll be looking at these objectives throughout this video. The first will be to look at the unique features, right? The unique features of e-commerce, digital markets, and digital goods. Look at that first. And then we'll move on to look at the principal e-commerce business and revenue models, right? So the principal e-commerce business, and revenue models, right? So e-commerce business models and then e-commerce revenue models. Well, now also look at how e-commerce has transformed marketing and also how e-commerce has affected business to business transactions. What changes has it brought to the table? When we're done with that, we'll look at the role of m-commerce, right? M-commerce means mobile commerce in business, and what are the most important m-commerce applications. And lastly, we'll look at the issues that must be addressed when an organization is building an e-commerce presence, right? Or a presence on the internet and the web in order to transact business. So to begin, here's a little information about what e-commerce. E-commerce simply involves the use of the internet and the web to transact business. That's what e-commerce is, right? The use of the internet and the web to transact business. It began in 1995 and it grew exponentially, still stable even in a recession. We'll talk more about that in the next slide. Now, the companies that survived the dot-com bubble now thrive, and then the new e-commerce is social, it's mobile, and it's local, right? Meaning that it's social, and it's also mobile. It's not fixed at one point, and it's also local, right? Now, see, this is the growth of e-commerce, right? Now, this graph is showing the growth of e-commerce for the past, from 2018 back to 1995. That's when e-commerce started, right? It started in 1995, and it rose, right? See that now this is 2008 and 2009. For this period, it was stable. That's what we meant by this. That it began in 1995 and grew exponentially, right? And it was still stable even in a recession. So in 2008 and 2009, there was a recession. You know that even during that period, e-commerce was still stable after growing it exponentially since it began, right? And then after the recession, it started rising again. Moving on. So let's start with the first objective. The first objective was about what? The unique features of the internet and the web as commercial medium, right? So the unique features of e-commerce. We have ubiquity, global reach, universal standards, richness, interactivity, homogeneity, personalization, and or customization, and our social technology. So let's take a look at each one of these. Ubiquity, right? It says that internet or web technology available everywhere, work, home, and so on, right? Now, if you want to transact business on the internet and the web, it's going to be very simple, right? Because internet and web technology are everywhere these days. So what I'm saying here is that e-commerce is pervasive, right? That's one of its features. It's everywhere, and you can access it from any place in the world, right? So what are the effects? Now, the effect of the ubiquity feature of e-commerce is that the marketplace removed from temporal geographical locations to become market space, right? So now on the e-commerce, we say market space. Now, this has also enhanced customer convenience and reduced shopping costs, right? And it reduces transaction cost, the cost of participating in the market. So that's for the first feature, ubiquity. And global reach, right? It says the technology reaches across national boundaries, around the earth, right? So he's saying that, so this is not the same as the first point. The first point is saying that internet technology is everywhere. Now this one is saying that internet technology or web technology has the ability to reach, far distances, national boundaries and around the earth. Now the effect is that e-commerce enabled across cultural and national boundaries seamlessly and without modification, right? So commerce is now limitless. It's not limited by culture or national boundaries. And the market space includes potentially billions of consumers and millions of businesses worldwide. But the universal standards, is speaking to the single set of technology standards, internet standard, right? So due to this, let's just talk about the effects. Disparate computer systems easily communicate with one another, right? Disparate means separate computer systems, right? So separate computer systems are able to communicate with one another easily because of the single standard that every technology is using, right? And then there's lower market entry cost. Cost merchants must pay to bring goods to the market. Lower consumers search cost, right? That has to be the effort required to find a suitable product. So lower consumer search cost. Now richness supports video, audio, and text messages, right? The effect is that it's possible to deliver rich messages with text, audio, and video simultaneously to large numbers of people. And then video, audio, and text marketing messages can be integrated into single marketing message and consumer experience. So we see that every day in the advertisement that we see online when you're scrolling on YouTube or TikTok, all those advertisements that pop up, right? That's one of the advantages of e-commerce, using the internet and the web to transact business. So it supports video, audio, and text messages, right? So there's richness in the quality of ads and campaigns that are run and marketing campaigns that are run on the web. And then there is interactivity, right? One feature too is that the technology we use for e-commerce works through interaction with the user, right? Now, due to that, the consumers engage in dialogue that dynamically adjusts the experience to the individual. Now, the consumer becomes co-participant in the process of delivering goods to the market. Very, very, very good. So that's about the interactivity, right? Now, information density is simply saying that there are large increases in information density, the total amount and quality of information available to all market participants. Right? So the information has more information has come about. So like information has increased. So that's what the information density is speaking about. Right? E-commerce has dense information, large amounts of data. Right? And the effect is that there's greater price transparency, there's greater cost transparency, and it enables merchants to engage in price discrimination. Now, personalization or customization, right? Now, technology permits modification of messages and goods. The effect: personalized messages can be sent to individuals as well as groups. Products and services can be customized to individual preferences. Right, so that's a personalization or customization. That is saying that technology permits the modification of messages and goods. So you can modify your messages and your products to fit what you want, your preferences. Social technology, right? The technology promotes user content generation and social networking. So the technology that we use for e-commerce promotes content generation and social networking. And the effect is that new internet social and business models enable user content creation and distribution, support social networks, many to many model. So that's what the social technology is talking about. Simply how the technologies that we use for e-commerce enables the user to generate their own content and also do social networking. Now, you see the effects of the internet on the marketplace. Remember that we said that e-commerce has caused a shift from the marketplace to the market space. So we are now talking more about the effects of the internet on the marketplace, right? So the effects of the internet on the marketplace is reducing information asymmetry. It offers greater flexibility and efficiency because of what? There are reduced search cost and transaction cost. There are lower menu cost. There's greater price discrimination, and there's dynamic pricing, right? So it offers greater flexibility and efficiency. It may reduce or increase switching cost, right? The cost of switching from one product to another. Then there may be a delay in gratification, and those effects are dependent on the product. Not all products may come with a delay in gratification. Now the internet has allowed increased market segmentation, and then there's a stronger network effects, and there's more disintermediation, right? So this is what this intermediation is talking about. This intermediation is simply talking about removing all the middlemen in the course of doing business, right? So you see what the internet, one of the effects the internet has had in the marketplace is this intermediation. Usually, the consumer will buy from the retailer, right? The retailer buys from the distributor, and the distributor, buys from the manufacturer. But with the help of the internet, the customer can now just access the manufacturer straight away, right? And so that's what applications like Alibaba, helps us to do, right? You can get it at an extremely cheaper cost. So you see that the more intermediaries, the higher the price. When there's no intermediary, the price is half. Now, see that e-commerce is made up of what? Digital markets and digital goods. Now, what we just talk about applies to the digital markets. So let's talk about the digital goods. So goods can be delivered over a digital network. For example, music tracks. When you buy music on your iTunes and stuff, when you buy movies, your Netflix subscription per se. Right. So the goods that we purchase on the internet can be delivered over a digital network. Now there's the cost of producing first unit, right? The cost of producing first unit is almost the entire cost of the product. If you wanted to produce an ebook, right? All the cost that you'll be incurring will be the cost of you actually preparing the ebook. Once it's prepared, you don't have to prepare the ebook again before you start selling it. You just make copies and you sell. And the cost of the delivery over the internet is very low. So delivery cost is also very low when you use the internet. When you are using your own ebook, the delivery cost will probably be what the data that you are buying. So that's extremely cheap. Now you have marketing cost. Marketing cost will remain the same, but pricing is highly variable when it comes to digital goods. Now, industries with digital goods are undergoing revolutionary changes, right? Publishers, record labels, etc. Very good. Now we are done with the first objective, right? Which was about what? The features of e-commerce. These slides are numerous and not all touch on the key points, so we'll be summarizing and skipping through some. Principal. So we're now moving to the second one. Principal e-commerce business and revenue models, right? But before we talk about all those ones, let's talk about the types of e-commerce, right? There are three types of e-commerce that you need to know about. You have the business to consumer, B2C. There's a business to business, and there's a consumer to consumer. These are the three types of e-commerce, or the three major types, right? E-commerce can be categorized by a platform. That's why you have m-commerce, right? Mobile commerce. So m-commerce is simply the use of your mobile phone to engage in e-commerce. Now these are the e-commerce business models. You have the portals, right? And that's looking to platforms like Yahoo, Google, Hotmail, Excite, etc. Right? So these are a collection of a variety of useful information into a one-stop web page. You have the e-tailer. See, retailer, right? So that's like Amazon, Walmart, etc. Right? So these are the business models. These are businesses that you can run on the internet. I have content provider. That speaks to what platforms like iTunes or news platforms, information platforms, games.com, Ghana Web for instance. Right? These are content providing services, and they are all businesses on the internet, right? So blogging will fall under the content provider services, the content provider business model. Now you have the service provider, right? So you have platforms like Google Apps, Dropbox, TerraBox. You always see the advertisements online. When you have a laptop, you open OneDrive. These are all service providers on the internet. Right? You say what? And they provide web applications such as photo and video sharing, data storage and backup. And so you have transaction broker. You have E-Trade, Expedia. There are many of these, right? So it saves users money and time by processing online sales transactions for a fee. Now I have what community provider. This has to do with what platforms like Facebook, Google, Twitter, right? So those ones they provide initial online meeting place for people or businesses with common interests. So that's what goes into the business models. And that's what market creator. You have eBay, Tonaton, OLX, Jumia, Priceline. These are the platforms. They have created a market on the internet, and that's how they make their money, right? So they provide a digital environment for buyers and sellers to meet and transact business. So every purchase that you make on Jumia, for instance, a percentage is going to Jumia. So that's how they make their money. Right. So what we just talked about were the business models. Let's look at the e-commerce revenue models, right? So the business model is how you can do business on the internet and the web, but the revenue models is how you can get money, right? Yahoo and Facebook, when you run adverts on those platforms, and even YouTube, what you pay for those adverts, and that's how they make money. So that's a revenue model. That's what brings revenue into their business. Now Amazon and iTunes, right? They do just by selling, right? Sales. New York Times, your subscription, and some of the applications that you use on the phone, you have to pay for them. So that's how those business models make their money. Then there's the freemium, the free or the freemium. With those ones, money is not involved; it's for free. So like Google like this. Then you have eBay. So you have the platforms that use the transaction fee. I was talking about Jumia, all those ones. So Jumia, OLX, all these platforms. When you transact your business on those platforms, then what? They take a rate of your transaction. So they are always charging you for your transactions, and that's why they are making their money. Then there's the affiliates, right? You have middlemen who go and advertise your product. They take your product, they go and sell it for you. When they give you the money, they give you the money, then you give them a commission. All right, so now look at social e-commerce, right? That falls under the business models as well, and that's speaking now. It is based on digital social graph, right? And the features of social e-commerce involve driving. So the features of social e-commerce which drives its growth involve what? News feeds, timelines, social sign-on, collaborative shopping, network notification, and then social search, right? So social e-commerce is simply the use of social media platforms, right? This time it's explicitly involving the use of social media platforms like like Facebook, Twitter, to do business, right? So yeah, see social media, right? So we use social media to do that, and social media is the fastest growing media for branding and marketing. Now social network marketing, what's that? Social network marketing seeks to leverage individuals influence over others in social graph, right? And the target is a social network of people sharing interest and advice. Facebook's like button, social networks have huge audiences, right? Facebook has 137 million US visitors monthly, right? So social network marketing is simply, influencer work, right? That's what network marketing is about, influencer work, right? So that's how you use social media, not just Facebook, but social media to transact business. You see all the time on your TikTok, even on your YouTube, even your Facebook, Instagram as well, right? So that's one of the ways of doing business on the internet. So that's what social e-commerce is about. So now you want to take a look at how e-commerce has transformed marketing, right? You have e-commerce marketing, and that has to do with the internet providing new ways to identify and communicate with customers. So that's one of the ways in which e-commerce has transformed marketing, right? Now with the internet, you have new ways to identify and communicate with your customers. There's long-term marketing, right? You are now able to reach large audiences at a very cheap rate. And there's internet advertising formats. Then there's behavioral targeting. That has to do with tracking online behavior of individuals on thousands of websites and within apps, right? And that usually raises privacy concerns because you know, they, they track all your movements online just to know what you like and what you don't like. So moving on, we have more examples as to how e-commerce has transformed marketing. Right now, you have social shopping sites, you have wisdom of crowds, and you have crowdsourcing. Right, that's when large numbers of people can make better decisions about topics and products than a single person. So you can use that to know what your customers want. That's similar to the wisdom of crowd. Now you have prediction markets, right? That's do it peer-to-peer betting markets on specific outcomes. You have elections, sales figures, and design for new products. So these are examples as to how e-commerce has transformed marketing. Good. Now look at the effect of e-commerce, or how e-commerce has transformed business to business transactions, right? So now, this B2B here, that's what business to business. Let me highlight that, right? So that's in the major types of e-commerce, right? Business to business e-commerce. So in the US, B2B trade in 2014 is 30.8 trillion, and US B2B e-commerce in 2014 is 5.7 trillion, right? So you can see that e-commerce is becoming bigger than it already is. But however, this information is in 2014, so it's definitely bigger now. You have stuff like Shopify, and that even came in 2017 going. So e-commerce would be way past this 5.7 trillion now. Right. So there's procurement requires significant overhead costs, which internet and networking helps automate, right? So we are saying here is that what we are saying here is that with the help of e-commerce, procurement overhead costs are significantly reduced when it comes to purchasing. Right now, the variety of internet-enabled technologies used in B2B, that's B2B e-commerce, involve what the electronic data interchange, that's the EDI. Then there's the private industrial networks or the private exchanges. We have the net marketplaces, and then we have exchanges. Right? We'll talk more about this in the slides to come. So the EDI, the electronic data interchange, is simply what computer to computer exchange of standards such as invoices and purchase orders. This diagram explains it better. Right, so this is how the EDI works. Because what companies use EDI to automate transactions for business to business e-commerce and continuous inventory replenishment. Suppliers can automatically send data about shipments to purchasing firms. The purchasing firms can use the EDI to provide production and inventory requirements and pay data to suppliers and payment data to suppliers, right? So procuring goods is now made simple, right? The EDI helps to automate that very well. So you see here, you have your suppliers. One second, let me erase this. So there are the suppliers over here, and the firm systems. These are shipping data being exchanged, payment data being exchanged, and the production or inventory requirement being exchanged. So there's always continuous replenishment, right? So move on to the private industrial network, right? This has to do with large firms using extranet to link to its suppliers, distributors, and other key business partners, right? And it's owned by the buyer. So the private industrial network is an extranet, and it permits the sharing of product design and development, marketing, production scheduling and inventory management, unstructured communication, and then graphics and email. Right, that's what the private industrial network is doing. The private exchange, right? So it's an extranet. Extranet is just like internet, but it is owned by individuals, right? So the extranet may be owned by an industry or a large firm, as stated over here, a large firm. Now, what this large firm can do is it will give access to this access of the extranet to its suppliers, its distributors, and other key business partners, so they can be sharing these things, their product and their product design and development, marketing, the scheduling, inventory management, and then their unstructured communication. Right. So this is how it works. This is the firm's extranet, and the suppliers and partners, distributors have been connected to the extranet, so they'll be exchanging the data. Right. Now there's what net marketplaces or hubs, and now there's single markets for many buyers and sellers. That's what the hubs are about. There are single markets for many buyers and sellers. It's industry owned or owned by independent intermediaries. They generate revenue from transaction fees and other services, and they use prices established through negotiation, auction, RFQs, or fixed prices. And they may focus on direct or indirect goods, right? And they may vertical or horizontal marketplaces. So that's what the EHAB is, the net marketplaces. So they are single market from, right? So this is a single market of many buyers and sellers. Let's go back. Right, so a single market of many buyers and sellers. So all the markets are put into one EHAB. So it's a network. The net marketplace online marketplaces where multiple buyers can purchase from multiple sellers. I get it. So it's different, right? So many buyers and many sellers, and multiple buyers can buy from multiple sellers. That's how it works. We have catalogs, sourcing, automated purchasing, processing, and fulfillment. That's what the net marketplace is. Right, and this is what exchanges, independently owned third-party net marketplaces, and they connect thousands of suppliers and buyers for spot purchasing. These typically provide vertical markets for direct goods for a single industry, like food and electronics. Right, so we have the exchanges here, and they are independently owned third-party net marketplaces. So the exchanges are like the net marketplaces, but they are independently owned by a third party, and they connect thousands of suppliers and buyers for spot purchasing. So purchasing on the spot, and they typically provide vertical markets for direct goods for single industry. That's food, electronics, or direct goods, right? Direct goods like food and electronics. Those are the goods that we talk about. Now, proliferated during early years of e-commerce. So This was massive or productive in the early years of e-commerce, but many of these platforms have failed, right? Their competitive bidding drove prices down and did not offer long-term relationships with buyers or services to make lowering prices worthwhile. So these exchanges, they failed. This technology in e-commerce, B2B e-commerce failed. Right. Now the last part, m-commerce, right? What's the role of m-commerce? You see here that in 2014, m-commerce was 90% of all e-commerce, right? Remember, m-commerce is e-commerce, is doing e-commerce on a mobile phone, right? And in 2014, 90% of all e-commerce was what? M-commerce. And m-commerce is the fastest growing form of e-commerce, right? So this is trying to give an idea of what role m-commerce is playing, in e-commerce. Now, many areas of growth, exclusive of location-based services. So, m-commerce is growing in many areas, right? For example, the retail sales at top mobile 400, sales of digital content, music, TV. All of these things are taking place on m-commerce. So this is a graph from 2010 to 2018. Now, mobile e-commerce is the fastest growing type of business to business e-commerce and represents about 19. So that's just a iteration of the point that was made earlier. What is growing exponentially. So your next slide, location-based services. Right. So this is used by 70%, 74% of smartphone owners, and it's based on GPS maps. And there are various types of location-based services. Right. There's a geo-social service, where your friends are, geo advertising, what shops are nearby, and then there's geo information services, the price of the house you are passing. So these are examples of location based services, and many people who use mobile phones use them. So it's an application of m-commerce. So there are apps that can do these things for you, and you pay to use those apps. That's what this is about. So it's a form of m-commerce. Skip that. Now, other mobile commerce services. So other mobile commerce services include what? Banks, credit card companies provide account management apps. So you have the Car Bank has their app, Eco Bank has their app, Access Bank probably also has an app, right? Everything is made, these banks are moving to the app um, era now, right? And then there's a mobile display advertising, ad mobile, Facebook, millennial media, right? And there's ads embedded in games, videos, and mobile apps, right? We see this all the time when you're using our phones, right? All those ads are paid for, so they are forms of m-commerce. Now, 55% of online retailers have m-commerce websites, right? Now, the last chapter, building and so m-commerce was the last but one, right? So this is actually the last chapter, building an e-commerce presence. So as a firm, if you want to go on the internet, how will you build your presence? The most important management challenges: developing clear understanding of business objectives, right? And you know how to choose the right technology to achieve those objectives. Because remember that your IT infrastructure will sort to determine what you can do. So you have to make sure that the capability of your IT infrastructure matches your business objectives. And the next thing you do from that is what? After you identify the most important challenges to your management, you develop an e-commerce presence map. 4 areas: your website, your email, your social media, and then your office media. So your offline media. And then you also develop a timeline, milestones, breaking a project into discrete phases, right? So your start, after 6 months, what do you should accomplish? Those are the milestones. So the next, you have the e-commerce presence map or the website. So you see, an e-commerce presence requires firms to consider the four different types of presence with specific platforms and activities associated with each. There's the website, right? You have traditional, I think that's a computer, mobile and tablet, email, internet list, internal list and purchase list, social media, Facebook, Twitter, blogs, offline media, you have the print and TV and radio, right? These are the platforms. And this is what you'll be doing on those platforms. When you go to your website, you know, for that search, display, apps, affiliates, sponsorships. That's what goes there. Email, you have newsletters that will be sending updates and sales. Marketing campaign. You can use that to run your marketing campaign. Then you have your social media, your conversation, engagement, sharing, and advice. Then you have what education, exposure, and branding. Where would so that's the e-commerce presence map. So this is the timeline with the milestones. So phase one is planning, phase two is what? Website development, three web implementation, four social media plan, five social media implementation, phase six mobile plan. Right, so the activity you so these are the activities that you just put down. This is a milestone. So for the phase one, you want to achieve what? Your web mission statement. So when you do that, you are getting further along. So you can move to phase two. You have your website plan, a functional website. Right. So this is what the milestones are referring to. So once you know once you have your web mission statement, you know that I'm done with phase one. Once you are able to get down your website plan, you know that I'm done with phase two. Right. So these are the milestones. That's how you build your e-commerce presence. Right. So this is the timeline. Right. Once again, thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And help if you are new, if you're a new subscriber and you have not subscribed, kindly hit the subscribe button and help THP tutorials and the Haven project get to 400 subscribers. That would really mean a lot to us, and we appreciate all our current 365 subscribers. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.